Hello, Cancer, and good morning. It's bright and early here. Welcome to your 17 forecast. I hope everyone's been keeping well. I hope your month of went brilliantly. Mine was certainly eventful. And let's get into your cards for going on with Cancer. So, channeled messages or feelings that came to me rather, as they were not very direct thoughts, were along the lines of Cancer acting as some form of energy booster for those around them, where this month, much like the self-starting sign of Aries, actually, you will be the ones that get everyone going. This is what I picked up on earlier when I was meditating. Seems fitting to start your reading with this Fool card here, seeing as the Fool card is someone who gets things going without too much thought either. So interestingly enough, the Queen of Pentacles popped out, and she popped out horizontally. This is how she landed. It looks like the Fool is stepping on the Queen of the Pentacles head, actually, where going back to this idea of having extreme boosts of energy this month, it could be that you start to battle yourself between remaining grounded here in the now and chasing dreams, chasing your wild thoughts and imagination about how possible life is. It could very well be that those around you be telling you to calm down, perhaps fellow earth signs be telling you to keep your feet on the ground. They themselves be dragging you down, pulling you down. And when I say dragging you down, it doesn't have to be anything negative at all. Simply giving you worldly advice to remain focused. But you come with this sense of enthusiasm in the month of June that is also very enlightening for other people around you, where you are reminding people to really live their lives. This is all still very much picked up energy, channeled energy, less about the cards and more about my own meditative state and the conclusions that I'm drawing from that state. So I'll lower the screen. We'll have a look at what's come out so far. I will shove the Queen next to the Fool. And so right next to the Queen, the third card to come out was the Ace of Wands. And that is very beautiful starting energy. That this is a force that tells me that in this particular case for you guys, that anything really is possible. Epiphanies are abound. Feeling powerful is nearby with this Seven of Wands as well. So it's as though you start to fully take charge and responsibility for everything that is going on in your life, Cancer. That you're really taking the bull by the horns, actually, which is again a very interesting analogy because of that very Aryan force that I'm getting, that sensation that you're also in a way taking on the obligations of Aries as a sign, Aries being the self-starting sign, initiators who pick up an idea and know what to do with it, and they also know how to push other people around them towards that same goal. So there's this boss-like feeling about Cancer this month, because I feel as though Cancer over the last few months or so, if not the last half year, has really been acting as an assisting force more than a dominating force, basically trying to get things done for other people without actually taking any credit for it. And I'm not saying that people ought to run after credit or rub it in anyone's face that they've been there for them or that they were right or that they've done something nice recently and so why haven't you noticed, etc., etc. It's not about that. It's the act of being humble. So Cancer really knows how to be humble. But there comes a point where you also need validation and confirmation that the effort that you bring isn't being wasted. that it is actually being recognized and appreciated. So I don't know if you guys remember, I believe it was last month or maybe a couple of months ago. Now, it may have been, if it was not in your video, it was in someone else's video, where I actually suggested that we be thankful to the cancers around us because of all of the support that they've been giving us. So it may have been something silly like go and hug a cancer if you see them. And that's because of the immense drive that cancer has to sort everything out and sort everyone out. And sometimes it can get pretty overwhelming. Sometimes your Cancerian energy, you guys, can get pretty intense. So that the effect of that is inevitably, and also unfortunately, actually seeing people walk away because they just can't handle you, or they can't handle your intensity and all of the emotion that comes out of you. Emotions can be detrimental as much as they can be extremely helpful in making decisions on a day-to-day basis. And yet these decisions don't just affect you, Cancer, they also affect the people around you. So actually earlier on, as I was meditating, I did ask a question, and that was, how is Cancer going to be both influencing themselves and the people around them in this month of... And I don't usually ask questions when I'm meditating. However, this was one that did come to me. So I see here, I'll lower the screen again, that we have this Two of Cups here that does talk about perhaps feeling emotionally abandoned in this case. Emotionally abandoned, underappreciated, and to some degree perhaps forsaken by those loved ones whom we've been there for. What a way to get things going for you guys. It's a bit of a somber tone, this of Cups, but it triggers something so much better than that, which is this Tower card here. And if you take a look at these cards and how they've been grouped together, it's almost as though it's a continuous scene of what's to come. And it does take on this rather dark energy, so to speak, one that kind of follows this of Cups, the implications that this of Cups brings, actually. But how beautifully fitting, actually, if you are able to see these cards and how they line up. We have the Tower, we have the Five of Cups, and then the Five of Pentacles here, and the of Pentacles. So again, this very somber tone of it could be losing someone, or even losing the grips that we have, that Cancer have, on reality. And the Five of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, much like what this Queen of Pentacles was trying to do, is energy that is bringing you back down to earth, forcing you to stand on your feet and realize that idealistic notion that you can be everyone's savior just doesn't always work out for you, or that every time you do put yourself on the line, every time you try to be more innovative, you try to be there for someone, unfortunately that overwhelming sensation that they receive pulls them away from you, and there seems to be like a backlash effect where you want to be there for people, you're trying to act as the support system, but they are just not as grateful as you wish to be acknowledged, and you end up having an opposite effect on them where you see them not taking your advice, running in the opposite direction, and there you are left to basically pick up the pieces that remain. And so this overwhelming sensation becomes transferred over from those people and onto yourself. And you find yourself debating with the Sea of Pentacles what your role is in people's lives and what your role is also in your own life, following this Fool card here, which has so much precedence over the rest of the reading. This Fool card really is, it seems to be energy that's departing your reading though as well. So even though you begin the month with this energy of the Fool, it is energy that's kind of leaving your reading, where you wish to have your heads up in the cloud, but this Queen of Pentacles, whoever she be, really comes to kind of drag you back down to earth. It's this grounding element, this grounding nature that is superimposed onto you. So you may find yourself in the presence of earth-like, earthy individuals, or you yourself have a lot of earth in your chart, in which case you find that as the month progresses, midway through, the earth side of things, the earth side of you, compels you to be a bit more realistic, to attend to your needs, and to perhaps shift around your priorities in such a way that they reflect your needs and not just the needs of others. Let's see what we have here. Essentially, this Tower card is the straw that breaks the camel's back for you guys, because let me ask you this. Let me take a sip of coffee first. Let me ask you this. How many times have you said to yourself, this is the last time. I'm not going to be there for this person again. Every time I've tried to be there for this person because I love them, I care about them, I give them valuable advice, in your opinion, they just don't seem to take it. Or they look at me and they say, yes, you're right, you have a point. I'll try to listen to you. Then they just don't. And they come running back to you after things go south, things get sour a little bit. They'll come running back to you knowing that they can rely on you, they treat you as a crutch. You become like an emotional crutch, perhaps, to one another. They come running back to you and they say, you know what? You were right, and I should have listened to you, and I'm sorry, etc., etc., etc. I won't do it again. Why do I keep doing this to myself? And so there's this victimization that occurs here. And being the very sympathetic, wholehearted sign that you are, you take them on again. You allow them to dump all of that emotional weight and baggage onto you, Cancer. And you say to yourself, okay, they seem sincere this time around. I'm not going to abandon this person. People need their time to adapt or change or whatever it is, even though, oddly enough, when it comes to your own needs to change or transform, or if someone gives you advice to change or to transform, it's not very easy for you to undergo such a change. So helpful advice from me to you would be to try and put yourself in these people's shoes as well, and try to remember all the times that you received similar advice. So you would be on the receiving end of this advice, where someone asked you perhaps to consider changing your ways or changing your approach to things, and you were quite stubborn in response to that, where you might have led them to believe that you were going to give their advice a shot, but then you ended up doing the complete opposite. And when you go running to them, they just couldn't be asked, to be honest, couldn't be asked anymore to actually give you that lending hand or that shoulder to cry on. They, in other words, wouldn't give you the benefit of the doubt. And what you find yourself doing time and time again, Cancer, is giving people around you the benefit of the doubt. And this is what we love about Cancer, actually, that you're always there for us. You're always there for those around you. In a way, this is kind of like what you were contracted to do, if you want to think of it that way. For some of you, it really acts as this life purpose, where you might find yourself kind of destined to always help people without, receiving much in return. You can choose to let this affect you negatively, or you can go the other way and let it empower you with this Empress card here. the Knight of Cups is acting as some sort of a buffer between the Devil card and the Empress card here. However, he is leaning more towards the Empress card because the Knight of Cups, to me, is a very charming individual. Very charming and almost blindsided by the wealth of emotion that they continuously feel and express towards others. They are the messengers of love and optimism and all that is possible in life, in their own life and in the life of those around them as well. They are really those. The Knight of Cups really does know how to make a person feel better. And in this case, the Knight of Cups is really talking about you, Cancer. As you move away from the detrimental aspects of what make you such a wonderful person, the detrimental aspects here being this Devil card, that it ends up taking a toll on you. It ends up feeling more like an obligation and a duty and pretty much everything that this Three of Pentacles like imposes on a person, right? Where it feels very contractual, really business-like. So when someone comes back to you for support and help, in the past you have really wanted to be there for them from all of your heart, where it was very genuine of you to approach this person to help. When they come back around this time, like I said, it's the straw that breaks the camel back, that triggers this Tower card, that makes you question why. Why should I be there for this person? Why should I help them? They never listen to me. But it's this sense of obligation again, like, if I don't help, who will? And is this person really prepared to help themselves? Perhaps the lesson they should learn is what it's like to be left alone. Maybe the only way this person is really going to be able to move forward and move on is if they are left to their own devices. Because I feel as though they keep coming to me as for help, for support, and when I need it, they may not be there for me. So feeling as though your friendships and relationships are formulated under these pretenses can feel a bit ugly, right? And that's this Devil card here speaking. But it doesn't have to be that way. Again, as I say, with this Knight of Cups, you can choose to direct that sort of positive energy, the influence that all of your emotions and empathy has on people, in the direction of self-empowerment and self-growth, in the direction of this Empress card, and realize that there is so much potential to be had there. There is so much more that you can profit from being this way, to profit in your lives. In other words, really attend to the brighter side of things, Cancer. There is actually a lot that you can learn from this Queen of Pentacles, who seems to be the one who's just asking you to, this is a person who comes into your life and really shakes things up a little bit, and offers you a different perspective. She practically hands this Ace of Wands over to you and says, hey buddy, it's time to own up. There's always that one person who does that, right? And usually when we least expect it. And you may not even know this person very well. This person may be a stranger, a complete stranger who you meet, and they might be just simply sharing their recent experiences with you, and you're sitting there and you're like, this sounds very oddly familiar. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you can resonate with whatever it is that this Queen of Pentacles has to say, and then something just clicks inside of you, and this relatable notion comes, and all of a sudden they have empowered you with an epiphany. They have empowered you with a new source of ideas and inspiration as to how you can take everything that makes you valuable and worthwhile, how you can take all of that and really help yourself grow. I'm also getting this sensation that you can take this idea and you can help it. Sorry, you can use it to form a new path in life, find a new career that where you can really use your skills. So teaching comes to mind. Working with charities and organizations comes to mind. NGOs, non-governmental, non-profit organizations, helping out the needy comes to mind. Perhaps working at a refugee camp, if you even have access to nearby refugee camps, comes to mind. Charity work in general. These are things that Cancer does really well. Working as a counselor, working with kids. There's pretty much so many things that you can make possible, where on a day-to-day basis, being there for people can seem rather overwhelming. Perhaps if you found a way to implement this into other aspects of your life, i.e. work, then you'd feel like you're gaining something as well at the end of the day, where you wake up and you have a goal and you know how to achieve this goal because things have been defined to you, where there's a set of criteria you need to meet. Basically, you work as part of a team with other people who have the same shared goals as you, and essentially just by having that support system, it takes a load off of you as well, and you end up feeling a lot more empowered. So it's actually really beautiful to both see your reading and on this Empress card, and it's also very empowering that you are left with this choice. This here really tells me that you are empowered with a choice here, that this is not, it's not imposed onto you. You can choose to get high strung in this Devil card energy here, this very depressing energy, where you really feel like you're kind of attached to people who keep draining you of your resources and advice time and time again, or you choose to really embody all of the love that you have, all of the emotions that you have. You be the bigger person and you use it, channel it towards your own self-empowerment, growth. You're basically staying within the same kind of energy here. You're just channeling it differently. Do you see what I'm trying to say? No one is telling you to stop helping people. No one is telling you to stop giving advice to people. It's ultimately what I'm trying to say is stop letting the process drain you. Stop letting it overwhelm you, and start finding ways that you can apply it to different sectors that will bring back profit into your life. I hope you enjoyed this reading, Cancer. As always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for your likes, your shares, and if you haven't subscribed, for your subscribes. If there's anything you'd like to say, feel free to comment below. And I've also left a contact form in the description box beneath where you can reach me through, of course, if you'd like to email me for one reason or another. So you guys, we'll speak to you very soon. Take good care of yourselves. Bye.